Rob and I are in Hyeres, which is a little, I think, suburb outside of Epernay, and you can see behind it's so beautiful. These little vineyards that sprawl all along the city, and it's actually the birthplace of Dom Pérignon, which you may know is one of the most luxurious champagnes in the world. And he was a monk here working in one of the abbeys, and he discovered champagne completely by accident. He had left it to ferment. Leave a little description here of how it happened better with how they describe it. But around here is his grave, and it's the birthplace of champagne in the region of Champagne, France. It's really cool to be here, and we've had many lovely tastings. So if you find yourself in France, I can highly recommend this area. It's quite quaint, and there's like, you know, these champagne tastings are a dime a dozen. There's so many around. But I will give a shout out to ours here. I'll leave the name on the screen now, to the one that we had, because we stayed at an Airbnb with this woman and it was lovely.
So this one is a Blanc de Blanc. This one. After you have the Brut Tradition. The Prestige, this one. Two glasses, the same one. After you have the Vintage 2012 and the Rosé at the end.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I've put in this order because I suggest to test in this order.
Hey guys, I hope you can hear me okay. I'm in the middle of Epernay in this beautiful Place of Champagne, because the Avenue de Champagne, the main avenue here, the most expensive street in the world, is just over there, where they have all of the main sellers of Dom Pérignon, Moet Chandon, Mercier, the main bottles of the champagne varieties. And we just left a wine tour, or a champagne tour, of Mercier, where we were able to take a little train through their cellars, and in it we learned all about the production and the kind of lineage of the champagne history of Mercier, and about their founder, Eugène Mercier. And he was a total badass. I mean, he founded the company at 20 years old, and in it he had the idea of making champagne accessible to the masses while maintaining the highest quality possible. So he was basically a pioneer in the field, and he made the largest cask, I think it's called foudre in French, to hold 20,000 bottles of champagne, and he had it made in Hungary, produced by the wood there, and then brought to France. And it was at the exposition in France, I can't remember the year, but I'll place it now on the screen, and it was just the pride and joy of his company. And he had been a pioneer and kind of trailblazer in making champagne since then, until he died in 1904. So we learned about the different varieties, what's a vintage, what's not a vintage, and how they make their house blend, and all the different grapes that they use. But it's been very cool. We had a wine tasting after, champagne tasting after, and things are going quite well. I have to say, our time in Champagne was lovely, even though the weather was, you know, gray, but it was brightened up by the bubbles that accompanied much of our trip here. We were able to taste a few different varieties. We'll definitely be back because it's close to Brussels, and we're off to Vichy, France today. So the next clip I think will be in Vichy. Take care, guys. We're here playing golf.
Wisdom.
On a friend. My favorite.
Me or the club?
Both. Funny thing about golf is everything. Every day is different, and sometimes the more relaxed you are, the better you play. And I'm still very new to the sport, and I really enjoy it because it's teaching me a lot about channeling my yoga side to being zen when things don't go your way, and oftentimes in golf things don't go your way. But I think it's really nice to be a beginner at things and have to learn or have to train that muscle of staying calm when things get really glad that I get to do it. Also because we get to be out here in this beautiful space, walking around in nature for 2 or 3 hours. But it's challenging me in a lot of new ways, let's say that. Everybody, greetings from our next stop here along our French road trip, which is a national park called Parc des Cevennes, and it's beautiful. It took us through a lot of windy roads to get here, but it's super green and it feels like we've stumbled into Cinderella's village. And the accommodation we've made it to, I'm going to show you some clips around because it just feels awesome. It feels super medieval, like the Three Musketeers lived here hundreds of years ago. It's been perfectly intact, remained, like it's been really well maintained and taken care of over all of these years. And it's actually a farm. Where we're staying is a working farm, and they make cheeses, they make honey, confiture, which is the like little like jams and marmalades and different things that are preserves, I believe is the word in English. And it's super cute. So we've just arrived, it's evening now. We have a dinner set up with the accommodation where all of the guests will eat together in their huge banquet hall. It looks just, it's just charming. It's just charm easing out of all of the walls here. And then tomorrow we have a big day planned where they have activities going here at the accommodation that we're welcome to take part of as guests here of the hotel. So from morning until 10 a.m. we can participate in the cheese making process, which we will definitely do. I'll definitely take you guys along because that's going to be super cool. A little bit stinky, but really informative, I think. And then we can tour the grounds, we can ride horses here. We really lucked out with the weather. It's beautiful weather. There's just so much to see. The air is so fresh. And then at 6 p.m. they'll be milking the cows. So it just is a total 180 from our life in Brussels, but a very welcome change, and I'm so excited to soak it all up. I wish we were actually spending more time here because it's so lovely. Let's do a quick room tour because I feel like we're staying in, as I said, like a Three Musketeers bedroom. Normally you see these places in museums and they say, they show you the tiny bed and they say, well, here's where people slept hundreds of years ago, and we're able to do that now. Like, we're actually able to live here. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Hello. Sweetie. Hello. Wow. Good morning, Mr. S. The cat. Exploring. This is Fifi. Hello, Fifi. Hello. Hey. Hello.
Les dos au fond de la vaisselle, on met une petite impulsion, hop, voilà, hop.
Those are from yesterday's milk.
Okay.
And they drain from the water or anything.
Ah ouais, j'ai pas. Donc ça, c'est la traite de hier, ça c'est la traite d'avant-hier. Vous voyez du coup, quand on laisse le thermolactique et la présure, on voit qu'effectivement,
Ça commence à se
ça
former
fait
un peu.
fromage blanc, le petit lait remonte.
Ouais.
So this is 2 day old and this is 1 day.
Yeah.
Ça, il y aura bien un moment où ça va être de la bouffe, hein, de toute façon.
Ça
Mhm.
se forme
On
bien.
remplit un maximum. Et après, grâce du coup au faisselle, elle va se vider de son eau un maximum. Et du coup, bah,
Ah!
Par gravité, ça se forme bien.
Et voilà. Hello everybody! We are finally at our last destination of our French road trip, which is Hyeres. As you can see behind me, the scenery has changed a little bit from the goats and chickens and geese that were in our last farm excursion area. So we're on the very far southeastern coast of France in the French Riviera, and it sounds as fabulous as me just saying it now. So we're here for our friend's wedding, which is actually today as I film this, and we've woken up early so that we can get a little bit of movement in before the celebrations begin, before the festivities start. So I'm actually going to include a little bit of mobility in this video, some moves that you can also try. I'll try to make them with some nice background, which I don't think will be very hard because as you can see, everything here is beautiful. Yeah, I'll run through some moves just to loosen up the body, the major joints of the body, especially the shoulders, the hips, because we've been sitting in a car for a lot of this trip, so those areas are tight, and I think that a lot of people can resonate with that. So I'll include the names of the moves on the screen. And then we have to get ready and put on our, best, our finest, so that we look presentable at the wedding. And we have tomorrow here as well, and then we'll drive all the way back to Brussels on Sunday.